Yum.
Ooh, that looks good. Award-winning journalist Lisa Ling takes us on a journey through Asian American culinary history in her new docuseries, Takeout with Lisa Ling.
Lisa joins us now in studio. Good to see you, my friend.
Lisa,
Thank you for
love
having
seeing
me.
you. And that was such a cool trailer. Oh my gosh, I love Asian food so much. And I also love the quote that you kick off the series with. He who does not know how to look back at where he came from will never get to his destination. I love that. Basically setting up the whole premise of the show, right?
Absolutely. And it's interesting because right now, one of the biggest debates going on in our country is over what history to teach. And I've always believed that you have to know where we came from, right, in order to be able to move forward, right? We have to address it. And for so many communities, our histories haven't been told. I mean, growing up Asian American, I never learned anything about Asian American history in school. And what happens when you don't have any frame of reference for a community's inclusion? You can dehumanize or overlook a community.
It's so ironic that you say that, because prior we were just talking about, we both just did Finding Our Roots recently on CBS. And you know what I learned about history and throughout time? It was brutal.
Yeah.
It was really, really brutal.
Yeah.
And there really is no fantasy fairy tale story, but it is what it is.
And very often history is told through the eyes of the victors.
Right.
And so much of it gets buried or it just gets forgotten.
Right.
How did you feel about your heritage growing up?
I had a lot of shame around being Asian American.
Really?
And especially around the food. Because, you know, Chinese food sticks to you. And I never wanted kids to come over to my house because it always smelled like Chinese food. And I was one of the few Asian kids in my school. And so, you know, when you're in middle school and high school, all you want to do is fit in, and anything that gives people a reason to tease you is something that you don't want any part of. And so I had a lot of friends, and I was a popular kid, but I was teased all the time. Really? And, you know, as I said, because Asian American history isn't included in history, you don't feel like you entirely belong. And that's absolutely how I felt.
Have things changed with your children? Did they feel differently?
My kids, they ask me to put dumplings and noodles in their lunch. In fact, if I would allow them to take kimchi in their lunch, they would totally take it. They ask me, and you know, like, that smells very strong. They're so proud of their ethnicity. I mean, it's taken a long time. My 10-year-old self would have never thought that I'd be able to do a show like this. I never thought that anyone would be interested in knowing about Asian American stories. And it wasn't even a dream. I never even dreamt it could be possible. And so it's been so exciting to do. And it's just awesome that my kids are so proud of who they are.
That's awesome to hear. I try to, my kids, fortunately, too, are very, very proud of who they are. And it's so important to carry on that tradition. But I love how you have food sort of connect people to their past. It's such an interesting, clever way to learn.
Well, food is the best way to connect people to history, lost history, or to culture. You know, it's the one thing that transcends challenges, struggle, it transcends discrimination. And these days, even though the Asian community has experienced so much and has experienced so much discrimination, everybody loves Asian food. I mean, there are more Chinese restaurants in America than McDonald's, Pizza Hut, Taco Bell combined. And these days, you can find Vietnamese food or Thai food, maybe even Nepali food in your town. So my thinking was, if you love our food, take the time to know our stories a bit.
Can't wait for your new show.
Well, you
and
brought
what
us,
did you bring
you brought
today?
us some food here. What do we got?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is one of the best meals I've ever had, and I hope it's still hot.
Okay.
This is from a restaurant in Silver Lake, California called Beu. It's spelled B-E-U,
What kind
like
of food?
B-U.
Is this Chinese specifically?
So this is Vietnamese food.
Vietnamese,
and it is caramelized pork and egg.
Well, actually, what's the best way to eat it? I'm not.
This is good.
You can just
see what I would do.
You can get messy. You can put it over rice.
I would get this juice and I put it over the rice and I get all of the right there.
That's what you should do.
That's exactly what I'm going to do now.
But this over the rice, and I want some of this guy on it.
Oh,
you like the spicy?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I gotta go in right here for
I'm going to go like this.
Let's get in here.
I put it right there. And then I put these little carnitas thing right here. These are good right here.
You put it all over the rice.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't it the most tender?
Incredible.
This would be awesome.
It's braised slowly for hours.
Oh my gosh.
You're gonna die.
This is great. See?
I got the egg in there.
Oh yeah, the egg. Oh, and I love the pork.
Maria, as you're eting that, okay, Lisa, you were just on The View.
Oh, that's good.
Yes.
Was that phenomenal?
Beu.
I was
really good.
So
cheering
good.
when I saw you on there. How has it changed going on there now since when you first were on there?
It's changed so much. You know, when I did the show 20 years ago, it was really fun. And
Wow,
light.
20 years ago. That's crazy when you say that,
20
right?
years. it's definitely taken on a much more serious tone. And, you know, look, that show has become an undeniable force in pop culture, in politics. I mean, you can't run for office without making a stop at
Which
the
I
do.
love.
And I really appreciate that. But it's also...
But it does-
Look at you.
it
You were
does-
just going to town.
This is really good. I finished. I stole your pork, by the way.
Don't eat my pork.
You're not going to eat your pork.
I wanted to
You're
talk
not
to
going to eat
Lisa.
your pork.
Makes me so
I want
happy.
this.
You're not going to eat this.
I am, and give me some of this stuff on
you're
it.
not.
Lisa, help
You're not going to
me.
eat
No,
this.
this brings me joy.
What's this, Lisa?
You're a
that I'm
liar
putting on?
face. You're probably not gonna eat
That's
that.
just pickled vegetable, like preserved vegetable.
I'm coming. I need this.
No,
hot
this is
sauce.
Yeah,
really
mix
good.
it up.
Let me get in here.
See?
I'm gonna bring this up
Do you
here.
have have guests on your show? No, it is such a joy
Well, one of
to
the
see you,
episodes
though.
we did was in Boyle Heights, and you think of Boyle Heights as a mostly Latino community, but there was once a thriving Japanese-American community.
East LA was basically the Ellis Island of the West, where all kinds of different immigrants, correct me if I'm wrong, came, right? Aside from Latinos and Asians and Jews and all kinds of Italians,
Well,
too.
after the Japanese were released from prison camps after World War II, they flocked to Boyle Heights because it was one of the few places they could afford and were allowed to live.
Exactly.
And so we went in search of those vestiges of the Japanese-American community.
Yeah, good food in Boyle Heights. Good food
Such
trucks,
good food.
right?
Such good food.
Like your style, Lisa.
Okay, you have to come with me.
This is really, really good.
Oh, I've got hot thing. That's so good right there.
Right?
Lisa Ling.
Thank you, Lisa,
Take us
for
out.
coming. Listen,
Thank you, guys.
Take Out with Lisa Ling is now streaming on HBO Max.